I was watching when she died. It started like any other night. Me, in my room, screen glowing, headphones on, waiting for Ava Grace to go live. She wasn't just a streamer, she was the streamer. Funny, smart, raw, the kind of person who could talk about horror movies and make you laugh while your spine tingled. I knew her schedule. Midnight streams were her thing. The late night crowd, creepy vibes, mood lighting. I always screen recorded her sessions. Not for anything creepy, just, I don't know. I liked saving things that might disappear. Streams vanish, people vanish. That night, she wore her usual oversized hoodie, hair tied messily like she hadn't tried but still looked perfect. She joked about getting weird stalker DMs again and even read a few aloud. I laughed with her, so did the chat. That was Ava. She could turn anything dark into entertainment. Then it happened, subtle, quick, a flicker just behind her in the hallway. A shadow, low and creeping. I blinked, leaned forward. Did anyone else see that? The chat exploded with messages. Nice effect. Oh my god, behind you. Creepy AF, Ava. She turned, laughed, said something like, "You guys are too paranoid." But she looked back again, just once. And in that single glance, her eyes changed. Not fear, exactly, but recognition. Like she saw something or someone she wasn't expecting. Then she smiled again. But it felt off. She ended the stream with a wink. I replayed that clip 5 times. I couldn't sleep that night. Something kept crawling into my brain. That pause, that glance, that flicker in her eye like she saw a ghost by morning. Twitter was flooded, breaking. Popular streamer Ava Grace found dead in her apartment. Suspected home invasion. Stream footage missing. I dropped my phone. I had the file. I was the only one who had it. I didn't know what to do. My hands were shaking as I stared at the file. Ava, Livy, 0700. 11 MP4. Just sitting there on my desktop, like it was any other night's recording. Only this time, she was dead. Dead, and somehow, I had the last few minutes of her life. Something not even the police could find. I played it again, slower. Frame by frame, the flicker in the hallway. The moment she laughed, too forcefully. The second glance, and there it was. A shape, human, male, standing just at the edge of the hallway, behind her open door, not moving, almost blending into the dark. You could barely tell unless you were looking for it. I hit pause. Full screen, brightness up. A reflection faint on the glass behind her. A face, blurred, watching. I felt sick, whoever it was. He wasn't improvising. This wasn't some random break-in. No forced entry, no panic in Ava's voice. She knew him, or at least, she recognized him before she died. I scanned the rest of the chat log saved in my recording. Dozens of people noticed the shadow, joked about it. Nobody thought it was real. Nobody except me. Then I did something stupid. I posted a clip, just a few seconds, blurred, captioned. I think I caught something in Ava's last stream. Did anyone else record it? Within minutes, my DMs were flooded. Streamers, true crime, YouTubers, journalists, even some trolls telling me to stop milking it. But one message stood out. At Just Spectre for to delete your post. You're being watched. If you have the full video, do not share it yet. Not here. I stared at the message for a long time. Who was this? Why did it sound like a warning? My heart pounded, harder than it should have. I looked around my room like someone was there. paranoia creeping in. Every creak of the floorboards, every car that passed outside, suddenly it all felt louder. I clicked on at Just Spectre for 2 single quotes as profile. No posts, no followers, just one pinned tweet from 6 months ago. You don't find stalkers by going louder, you find them by going quiet. I didn't sleep that night. I kept re-watching the video, pausing, zooming, enhancing as much as my setup allowed. Not because I thought I'd find a clear face, but because I had to look. I needed to know if I missed something, a clue, a warning, anything. That's when I noticed it. In the 5 seconds before Ava ended the stream. She looked directly at the camera, not with her usual smile, but something else. Her eyes were wide, subtle panic masked as calm. And then, just before the screen went black, her lips moved. No sound, just a whisper. I played it back. Slowed it down, she said. He's here, not part of the bit, not part of the stream. This was real. Suddenly, the stream didn't feel like content anymore. It felt like evidence. And maybe a cry for help that none of us recognized in time. Needed to know more. So I did what any obsessed digital sleuth would do. I dove into her channel, archived streams, Instagram posts, behind-the-scenes reels, tiny, stupid things that no one else would notice, but I did. I started focusing on reflections, mirrors, glass cabinets, chrome surfaces, every time she streamed from her bedroom or kitchen. And I saw him again and again and again, just a silhouette, sometimes blurred, sometimes clearer. A man, tall, always in the background, watching. She never acknowledged him, not once, but he was there. For months, I froze one image, a Valentine's Day vlog where she's holding a heart-shaped balloon in the chrome toaster on her kitchen counter. His face is reflected, only for a moment, but clear enough. Dark eyes, shaved head, a birthmark on his left cheek. This wasn't just a stalker. This was a ghost haunting her reality, 1 pixel at a time. And Ava, she had to have known. Why didn't she say anything? Was she protecting someone, or herself? My mind spun in spirals. There was no way the police hadn't found this, right? But if they had, why were they saying the stream was deleted? The day after Ava's channel disappeared, I started receiving emails. Not DMZ, not spam. Personal emails. The first was simple. Subject: do you have the full file? Sender: no address at nullmail.cc message. If you're smart, you'll delete it. If you're stupid, you'll watch it again. Either way, you're on the list now. I didn't know what hit me harder, the threat or the fact that someone knew I had it. I slammed my laptop shut, heart pounding. I could barely breathe. My bedroom suddenly felt like a cage. How the hell did they get my email? I unplugged everything, pulled my webcam down, tossed my phone under a pile of shirts like that would somehow make me invisible. It was just a video, just a recording, right? No, not anymore. I paced around my room like it would help. Then I remembered the burner Twitter account, @JustSpectre42. The warning, the silence. Maybe it wasn't just paranoia. I opened a secure tab, logged into an anonymous email, and replied, "I have it. What do you know?" Within minutes, a response came. "You need to leave your apartment. Not tomorrow, not in an hour." Now, my blood ran cold. I turned toward my window, blinds down. Nothing visible. I moved closer, slowly, carefully, slid one blind open. There was a van parked across the street. Plain white, no logos, tinted windshield, just sitting there. Engine off, driver invisible. Coincidence? Maybe, but maybe not. I grabbed a hoodie, hard, drive, and my laptop. No time to think. I walked out the back staircase and didn't look back. I found myself in a late-night diner on the edge of town. Greasy booths, flickering fluorescent lights, and a waitress who didn't ask questions. I ordered black coffee and sat by the window with my laptop, heart still hammering in my chest. I opened the stream again, this time frame by frame. There was something I hadn't seen before. In the final minute, just before Ava whispers, "He's here," she subtly tilts her webcam. Not enough for most people to notice. But when I brightened the exposure, I saw it, a post-it note, stuck to the mirror behind her. Faint, but legible. R25. See, what did that mean? Room number, code, locker, or something she wanted someone to find. I messaged at @JustSpectre for 2 again. She left a code, R2 to 5C. Does it mean anything? The reply came quick. You just became a threat. Then nothing else, not a single word. I sat there in that diner, wondering what line I had just crossed. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. I sat in that grimy diner until sunrise, replaying the same 10 seconds of Ava's stream over and over. The whisper, the tilt of the camera, the note R2-5-C, some kind of message, a breadcrumb she left behind. Not for the police, not for her fans, maybe for anyone who was really watching. And I searched everything, apartment numbers, building codes, lockers, storage units, but nothing clicked until I remembered something from one of her older vlogs. A throwaway line. "This is the building I used to work in, Ridgeway Tower. Worst receptionist job ever. Elevator always jammed. Room 2, floor 5, closet C. Literally a dungeon." My heart stopped. R25C. It wasn't a code. It was a location. A place she hated. A place that meant something. Ridgeway Tower. I searched it, downtown. Old office building, mostly abandoned. Half the tenants had left years ago. A few floors still leased. Security was minimal. No cameras on the upper levels. Perfect place to hide something or someone. 2 hours later, I stood outside Ridgeway. It looked worse than in her video. One of those crumbling glass and brick towers that always felt like they should have been demolished, but somehow weren't. I hesitated at the entrance, my reflection staring back at me in the dirty glass doors. Was I really doing this? I walked. In no front desk, no cameras, just flickering lights and the smell of old carpet and metal. The elevator barely worked, shuddered like it might collapse. I didn't trust it. Took the stairs, second floor, 5th room. Hallway C. My palms were sweating. The hallway was dim, quiet, with low buzzing lights and scratched walls. Then I saw it, room 225C. The door was old, half painted. There was tape. Across the knob, peeled back, like someone had already broken in. I pushed it open. Inside was a dusty supply closet, shelves, old filing cabinets, a broken chair, nothing else. At first glance, but then I saw the locker metal, half open. Inside was a cardboard box. I pulled it out, heart in my throat. Inside, a stack of printed photos, screenshots from Ava's streams, close-ups of her in her bedroom, a hand-drawn floor plan of her apartment, exits marked in red, and a burner phone. I picked it up. It was still charged. One message on the lock screen: "Did you think I wouldn't know you'd come here?" My blood froze behind me. The door creaked. Someone else was in the building. That sound, the soft creak of the door behind me, hit harder than any gunshot. I didn't move, didn't breathe. There was no light in the hallway now, just silence. Like the entire building was holding its breath along with me. I slowly slid the box back into the locker, kept the burner phone, slipped it into my hoodie pocket, then stepped back, careful not to make noise. Then I heard it, footsteps, slow, deliberate. Getting closer, I crouched down, pressed myself into the shadows behind the open locker door. My heartbeat was so loud, I was sure it'd give me away. The footsteps stopped just outside. Silence again, for one long, suffocating minute. Then, a whisper. Wrong place to be curious. My lungs locked up, my fingers curled into fists. I didn't recognize the voice, but it was close, not angry, not loud, calm, like he was toying with me, like he knew he was on the other side of the wall. I grabbed the broken chair, rusty, wooden, heavy, and held it like a weapon. Every instinct told me to run, but my body wouldn't move. Then a sound, a door slamming. Not mine, somewhere farther down the hall. I used it, bolted out the door, through the hall, down the staircase, 2 steps at a time, my knees nearly buckling. I didn't look back. I didn't have to. I felt him behind me. When I burst into daylight, it was like surfacing from deep water. I staggered across the street, nearly getting hit by a car. Horns blared. I didn't stop. I ran, until my legs gave out. That night, I holed up in a cheap motel 2 towns over. No credit card, no ID, cash only. I pulled the curtains closed, shoved a chair under the doorknob, and powered on the burner phone. It booted up slow, old Android interface. There were 3 saved voicemails. I hesitated, then hit play. Voicemail 1, Ava's voice, soft, nervous. "If anyone finds this," I knew someone was watching. I didn't want to believe it at first. I saw things in my videos, reflections. I thought maybe it was me going crazy, but he's real and he's close. Voicemail 2, I left clues. I thought if I made it part of the content, maybe someone would catch on. Maybe one of my fans, maybe you. If you're listening, please don't trust the police. He has access. I think he's already gotten to someone inside. Voicemail 3, a pause. Her voice cracks. He said he wanted me to be famous forever. He said they'd never forget my last stream. He knew what I'd do, what I wouldn't. I think he's going to. The message cut off. My hands were shaking, my mouth dry. Ava knew. She saw it coming, and she tried to fight in the only way she could, by turning it into a mystery someone might solve me. But now I wasn't just a viewer, I was the next character in the story. I stared at the burner phone, Ava's voice still echoing in my ears. She'd done everything she could, left a code, hid the truth in plain sight, even left behind a digital breadcrumb trail for someone, anyone, to follow. And now here I was, the last viewer, the last witness, and probably the next target. I couldn't go to the police, not after what she said, not when every instinct in me screamed, "You're being watched." I needed to be smarter than that. I needed to think like her, so I made a choice. I wouldn't run. I wouldn't hide. I'd go live. I still had an old laptop, barely functional, with a stripped-down Linux OS and no tracking services. I connected through a VPN chain and launched a private live stream on a ghosted site, something a few coders in dark corners of the web had once built for whistleblowers. No chat, no names, no alerts, just a single screen, me sitting in front of the camera, the recorded footage of Ava queued up beside me. I clicked stream. The red light blinked on. I spoke calmly, clearly, my voice steadier than I felt. If you're watching this, you already know Ava Grace is dead. What you don't know is that her killer wanted you to think it was fiction, that the shadow in the stream was part of the act. But I've seen what's behind the act. I've seen the man behind the camera. I paused, let the words settle. He's not just a stalker. He's a collector, a manipulator, a puppeteer, and now he's watching me. I played the final minute of Ava's stream, the flicker, the whisper, the post-it note. Then I played the voicemails. I showed the box, the photos, the message on the burner. I don't know if I'll make it through tonight, but if I don't, this stream is being recorded. It's being mirrored. And there are backups across 5 servers in 5 countries. If you're watching, you're the backup. He can't delete all of us. I looked straight into the camera. You wanted to be famous, didn't you? I said. Well, now you are. Let's see how you like the spotlight. Less than a minute later, the stream crashed completely. No warning, no lag, just dead. I sat frozen, staring at the blank screen. Then, a ping. A message on the burner phone. Nice move. But you forgot one thing. I blinked. My heart punched my ribs. Another message popped up. Look outside. Slowly, I stood up, parted the curtain with trembling fingers. Down the dark alley outside the motel, beneath a flickering streetlight, stood a man, tall, still looking up at my window, and he waved. He waved, like we were old friends, like this was all some game, and I'd finally reached the last level. I stepped back from the window. My mind raced. Options, exits, anything. The motel room had one door, one bathroom window, and thin walls. I didn't know how long I had. Seconds, minutes, but I knew this. If he was outside, he wanted me to run, and I wasn't going to give him that satisfaction. I opened the laptop, powered it back on. The VPN was still active. The backup script I'd coded in the background, still running. Of everything, the box, the audio, the footage. I had 35 mirrors. He could kill the stream, but he couldn't kill the truth. I typed one message, posted it across every dark forum I knew. Ava Grace's killer is real. Footage incoming. Download and distribute. Archive this. Expose him. And then I did the one thing he never expected. I turned my webcam on again. He was already at the door. I heard the handle twist. The soft push, slow footsteps inside. I sat in the center of the room, the camera pointed at me, calm, quiet, waiting. He stepped into the frame. Black hoodie, leather gloves, that same dead stare I'd seen reflected in Ava's kitchen appliances. He didn't speak, neither did I turned the laptop so the webcam caught his face in full. His eyes flicked to the red recording light, paused, smiled, then he leaned in and whispered, "You think this ends with me?" My chest froze. He dropped something on the table, a flash drive, then walked out, quietly, casually, like he'd just finished a meeting. I didn't chase him. I waited until I heard a car engine, the hum fading into the distance. Then I picked up the drive, plugged it in, and what I saw made my blood run colder than it had all week. Folder, name, Ava Grace. Library inside, dozens of video files. Not just Ava, dozens of streamers, dozens of victims. Some laughing, some crying, some moments before they died. All filmed, all archived, by him. He'd been doing this for years. This wasn't about obsession. It wasn't even about Ava. This was a network, a system, a show, and Ava. She was the only one who fought back. The only one who left behind a message. The only one who knew there'd be someone watching close enough to listen. Me. That night, I didn't sleep. I stayed live for hours. I leaked the footage. Reddit picked it up, then Twitter. Then streamers, journalists, whistleblowers. The name Ava Grace trended worldwide for days. She didn't die for content. She died trying to stop it. And thanks to her, we finally saw the truth. But the last thing I'll never forget, the final frame in her stream. Before the lights went out, wasn't fear, it was defiance. She knew he'd come for her, but she looked straight at the camera and smiled.